Where's that groundhog when you need him? 82 degrees and sunny, Friday night. UPTV Channel 6, tell it like it is. Them boys is back. Him back. That one back. And we got a new one that's back. Dollar Bill drank something the other day and he shrunk. And now look at the result of what happens when you drink at an early age. Go ahead and pop that camera on Junior Dollar Bill so people can see what he looks like out there. See what happened? That's what happens when you drink when you're 6 and 7 years old. And now you're in your 40s, that's what happens how you shrink. Big Joe sitting here.
He tiny. Him tiny.
Him tiny. Him tiny. Well, we took a little hiatus for a couple weeks with the Easter holiday, and folks had other commitments, but we're glad we're back. And
At a gala.
a gala. Yeah, I had my old tight suit on.
Did you?
Yeah, I had that old 42 regular. And you know I should be in a 52 long.
Wow.
So
That was an adventure.
I look like George Costanza.
I bet you did.
White socks. Stat girl.
What's happening?
We ain't seen you in a month of Sundays. How you been?
Fair to middling, fair to middling.
Fair to middling? You got rid of that gout?
Right.
Yeah, gout.
Left foot swole up, you know. She had to soak it in some pot liquor, but she's a lot better now. You see? She used the same remedies you use down there in Kentucky.
I hear you.
I'm a Southern girl too now.
Now,
Yeah.
what heals you from?
The hills of D.C.
How southern? Never mind. Let's go.
Just right. Benjamin Banneker. That's how southern you are.
What, southern D.C.?
I'll have you know that the District of Columbia is below the Mason-Dixon.
Oh, okay. So if you were living in D.C.
It's
back
not
in
a
the day,
state.
It's a district. You don't even have voting rights.
I can vote.
No, you can't.
Until you move here to Illinois, you couldn't. You had to show your freedman papers.
We know.
And then you had to pay your poll tax.
Look, not only do we know sports, we know
Right.
the government too.
Civics, we paid attention. You know, we cheated off some papers, but
Only thing you can vote for is Marion Barry.
I got set up. Hey, look, speaking of Marion Barry, I'm sitting there looking at all these cameras. Now I see how that stuff works. Watch your back out there. But our new addition here is the one and only Jamal Stovall. Jamal, you want to say what's up to the people out there? Look right, that's your camera over there. Just, give them something, anything you want to say to the people.
Say hi.
Wow, so you're going to give them 50 minutes of sign language? Well, you,
Talk sports.
oh,
I'm gonna talk sports.
talk sports. Oh, so he's here to talk sports. Bud, I guess we're going to start this thing off,
We
the
can
NFL.
do it. We can do it. We can do it.
This weekend, the 2009 NFL Draft
In fact,
kicks
I'm
off,
leaving.
and
In fact, I'm leaving after this. I'm going to New York. My agent waiting on a call. I might get top draft pick tomorrow.
I've seen Matt Stafford.
I'm
You
not
don't
going
look
number
like-
one. No, I'm not. I'm top 30.
Top 30? Oh, you will be a first rounder.
Could be.
Offensive tackle.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of Alabama.
Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky, a hilltopper.
Hilltopper.
Well, there's been a lot of analysis about this draft coming up, and the old saying is paralysis by analysis. I have yet to see anybody come up with the foolproof scientific method of determining who the players should be, when they need to be drafted, where they should be drafted. Mel Kiper, you see him with his helmet hair and, Chip's sunglasses. And then you see Todd McShay, and, he's giving you the new millennium style. And then you got us. And we just sitting here pontificating just because we got a camera and we got a few minutes on TV.
Big words.
Yeah, hey, it's been a couple weeks.
You need to come on new one. You don't want that in the ground.
I don't want to pontificate out? Okay. Well, I'll come up with something new, and I'll hit it in the second half of the show. And when I hit you with it, I'm going to watch your chair flip.
Okay.
I'm going to see how that breaks down.
All right.
Now, like I said, 2009 draft is coming up tomorrow, New York, 3 o'clock on ESPN. And everybody knows what everybody should have. And you hear all this discussion about it. But I mentioned earlier, Bun said he'll be in the top 30, but Matt Stafford, the quarterback out of Georgia, all practical purposes, is going to be the #1 pick for the Detroit Lions. I'm going to turn to you to start this thing off, Bud. Is that the direction Detroit should go in terms of using that top draft pick?
I said it once, I said it again. You know, Detroit can pick positions out the hat and pick who they want, but quarterback these days, you know, your first round #1 quarterbacks hadn't fared too well in the NFL.
Right.
In the old Good Shield League.
Right.
You look at Mr. Leaf, and where's he at now? Laughing, and
Blowing leaves.
we got, you know, Kelly Smith,
Bad.
Joey Arrington,
Real bad.
and, you know, the list goes on. But, I mean, they ain't got the man locked up. But I was watching a program today on ESPN, Peter King he was talking about, dude, the #1 draft pick, is it a problem for him? And he said yes, because you spend all this money, $40 or $50 million for one player. You put all your marbles in this game, and he might not pan out the way you want, and you lost. He come up with the idea that the #1, the worst team in the league should pick where they want to be in the draft selection, which is good.
Right.
But Stafford, I mean, I'm an SEC guy, but I don't know.
You don't know about him?
I don't know.
Jamal, top pick, Matt Stafford. Would you pick him, or is there somebody else out there that you say, you know what, let me pick somebody else up other than this quarterback?
If you had to pick quarterback, I'd pick Mark Sanchez instead of him.
Now, why would you pick Sanchez over Stafford?
Because I think he has better accuracy and is quicker than him.
Quicker than Stafford?
Yeah.
Now, we got to see Mark Sanchez when he played in the Rose Bowl against Penn
Oh, you
State.
played? Oh, you was there at the game?
Yeah, I was right there.
Really?
I was all right, let me see. Oh, that's the basketball poster.
Okay.
If I had the football poster, I'd show you where I was sitting at the Rose Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, we saw Mark Sanchez playing, and Mark Sanchez, he looked a lot better than John David Booty, who got drafted, in the 4th round last year from USC. Matt Leinart, we know Matt Leinart went in 2004 and he was the 10th pick overall, and he's
just-
holding the clipboard for
He's waiting his turn.
yeah, waiting a little long too, ain't it? And it goes back to what you said about spending all that money on the top pick as being a quarterback, and if they don't pan out, you gave a guy basically $20-30 million to
The
be
thing about it is, you know, they haven't pulled the trick, because you look at Cincinnati, when they drafted Carson Palmer, he's sort of a clipboard cheerleader, and the management said, well, what are we paying him for? John Kennedy had a good year. Well, I tell you what, we're going to get rid of him. It's your show. I mean, there's been some good quarterbacks come out of USC, except Todd
Marinovich.
Marinovich.
That's because he had never had a quarter pounder until he was 21.
Well, but Pete Carroll, I mean, that's a good system out there. That is NFLU.
Right. Now, if you think about it, years ago, the top pick used to be, running backs. Everybody always looked at, trying to get that stud running back.
Or defense, good defensive player.
Right. Defensive end would be coming in as your top player. But now it seems like everybody's putting emphasis on this high-quality quarterback. I look at Detroit. Dante Culpepper's there. He's 32 years old. He's on the backside of his career. If Stafford goes there, Scott Linehan just came in as the offensive coordinator. Now, Linehan was Culpepper's offensive coordinator when he was at Minnesota. So it might help to have Stafford there with Culpepper. And like you said, maybe he holds the clipboard for a year. Because as many holes as they have on the Detroit Lions team, I don't know if you want to throw him right into the fire first year.
Well, Culpepper, he ain't mobile.
Now, reports are he's lost, 30-plus pounds already.
Reports.
I don't know if that's he got his hair cut,
Bigger clothes.
lighter shoes, what that may mean. But with Stafford going to Detroit, he'll at least have an opportunity to learn from a veteran. I don't know what the learning curve will be for him compared to some of these other rookies.
Because you never know. Georgia's never been known for a quarterback. I mean, Hines Ward, he was a quarterback, and, he's a receiver now. At Quincy Carter, he got himself in trouble.
Yeah, well, he had glaucoma.
Yeah, Georgia been known for defense and running back, but It could be a new thing. Stafford, I mean, he's been there. He's been there solid for 3 years for Georgia. He's been through bumps and bruises, and Coach Rick, be down there in Georgia. He run a good program, and you always see Georgia in the top 25, except his freshman year. They wasn't too shabby.
Right. Well, you look at it, and Detroit is going to pick that quarterback, and right now, as we said, it looks like
His signed, sealed, and delivered.
it'll be Matt Stafford. He'll be in there. But is he the best player? We talk about, you said moving up and down the draft order, et cetera. They're picking a guy that maybe that's who they want to start their franchise around. But with all the guys that are coming in 2009, is Matt Stafford the best player? I'm going to ask you, Jamal, to start off. Who's the best player you think coming into the draft tomorrow?
Aaron Curry from Wake Forest.
You think Aaron Curry is the best player out there? And why is that?
Because he's quick and can contain the outside. And I just think if I had to pick anybody out the draft, I'd pick him.
That'd be your number one pick. Well, think about, you spoke earlier, Bundy, about defensive players used to be, your ends and linebackers were the guys that teams went after.
Mario Wills was the number one player a couple years ago.
And now look, and I'm
Everybody laughed. Everybody
laughed.
laughed. Everybody laughed. That man, what's his name? Charlie Kessler, whatever his name is. He on CBS.
2006.
Everybody laughed at me. He passed up. You passed up Vince Young and Reggie Bush. Now look at him.
He look like a little genius, don't he?
Yeah, looking good.
Well, my thing is, teams are built front line, offensive, defensive line. That's where the games are won. Mm-hmm. The quarterbacks, they get all the headlines, running backs. Those are the sexy positions. Those are the ones that get you Coca-Cola commercials and hamburger commercials. But the guys who are nameless and faceless when they get up there, that's who wins your games and win your championship for you. You think about the Giants a couple years ago, their defensive line and their offensive line is what got them propelled into the Super Bowl and then gave them the opportunity to beat the New England Patriots. Same thing this past year when, you look back at the Super Bowl, teams that are participating in terms of Steelers and Arizona Cardinals. Steelers defensive line and their offensive line, even though it had guys moving in and out due to free agency, gave them that best opportunity. So I'm going to ask you, out of all the guys that are available this year, who's the best player available in this year's draft?
To me, none. They all the same.
They're all the same.
I mean, there's no one guy to stick out and you like one of them got to have players. Mm-hmm. To me, it might be a dark horse. Crabtree, he could have played because you get agents and teams together, and they run this little game. You run slow in the draft, you combine, you don't lift all the weights you want, and they say your stocks drop. It's like they come out with these drug reports. Percy Harvin supposed to had a positive test,
right?
And they said Vontae Davis too, but they had to recant the story and apologize. He probably gonna get some chips out of it,
right?
But if I had to pick one player, I would say Crabtree.
That'd be your guy to be number one. My thing about, as you said earlier, there's usually a can't-miss guy. And this year, I don't think there is that one guy.
Nobody just like one of them you slobbering and you like, oh.
Gotta have him.
Oh, gotta have him.
Well, I mean, you think about like 2007 when Adrian Peterson was drafted. He wasn't even a top pick.
Nope.
But he probably was the best player.
Because nobody want to take a chance because it passed injuries.
Right. He had the injuries to Oklahoma with the collarbone and had I think it was an ankle problem.
Yep.
When he was
Randy
there.
Moss.
Randy Moss.
Nobody want to take a chance. Oh, he's a trouble kid.
Right.
I mean, well, he was. They was right, but for a while, he was going through the league.
Yeah. And having a good time going through and showing them other teams that pass on it. My opinion, I think the best player coming into this year's draft is Percy. You mentioned Percy Harvin out of Florida earlier. I think he's the best player, meaning whatever team picks him up, I think he'll have the immediate impact when he gets out on the field.
Oh, Joe, he's too short.
Well, here's where I'm looking at him at. I'm looking at Percy Harvin being kind of a hybrid like Devin Hester, where he'll be able to run kicks from the punt position and the kickoff position. And now with everybody running these wildcat formations.
Darren Sproles.
Right. He'll be able to do things like that. Whereas in the past, I agree, if you were using the old traditional sets, then Percy Harvin would be too small to be able to put out there. But in terms of just best overall talent, when you talk about speed, quickness, and the ability to score, I think he's the best player available in the draft, but he won't be picked in the. I don't think he'll go in the top 20. Yeah.
I think he will. I think he
You
will.
think so? Mm-hmm. I don't think he's gonna go in the top 20. I think
Speed.
I think his
Everybody possess speed. I mean, you can't. Speed can't be taught.
no.
I mean, the dude fast, and he's a winner.
Yeah,
He's a winner, chicken dinner.
yeah. Well, he's a winner, and he's played. But think about what these professional teams do.
Spread.
They go. You know, everybody plays these spread offenses in college.
It hurts you when you go into pros.
When you get into pros, guys are playing the traditional set, and they're not having the ability to go up against. You think about it in college for a second. The third cornerback in college is not as talented as the third cornerback in the NFL. So when you be able to move around, get in the slot and stuff like that in college, you know, these guys can go ahead and take off down the field and score, make these big plays. But when they get in the pros, Reggie Bush is a classic example of that. Reggie Bush found out that there was twos and fews available when you're out there playing in his position. You're not going to break 20 and 30-yard gains every time you touch the football. And I think that's where a lot of people had issues with Reggie Bush his first couple of years.
But then you got to look in the pros. It's a different game. Yeah, not only they play traditional sets, but you have people go out scouting. They look at film, break you down, and it's so complicated. I mean, the game has changed so much from back in the 50s and 60s. I mean, now you got combines, you got people watching you, and you do this, you do that, and film is broke down, and it's just technology now.
Right.
But it's a gamble, because now you get players, you pay them all this money, sometimes they're bust.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason why guys are bust, there's a couple things you can't measure. You can't measure heart.
No.
You know, you can talk about all these measurables you want. Guys 40 time, how many times he can bench press 225, his vertical leap, you know, shuttle run, all that stuff, percentage body fat. You can measure all that, but you can't measure his heart.
Nope.
And you can't measure his character when there's adversity and crisis on and off the field. You're not going to know how a guy's going to react until it occurs. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people make these errors when it comes, because they get so dug in on the stats. You know, I'm a stat guy when it comes to the game, but when it comes to an individual, I want to see, can the guy run? Can he tackle? In pads. I don't want to see him in shorts and a T-shirt running up and down a track. You know, because you can take a guy off a track team and have him run a 40, but then when you put him in pads and ask him to run a route, he can't run a route. You know, so I think that's where a lot of people are missing. But I still think the best player in terms of the effect that he'll have on a team in 2009 is going to be Percy Harvin, whoever get their hands on him. Now, I know all of us are fans of particular teams. I'll start off with you, Jamal. You're an Indianapolis Colts fan. With the guys coming in this year, who do you want the Colts to draft this year with the first-round pick, or not even with the first-round pick, who do you want them just to pick up?
I think they need another receiver with the loss of Marvin Harrison.
Uh-huh.
So I would, if Philadelphia let Kenny Britt go, either him or if Percy Harvin don't get picked up, him.
So you want Colts to replace Marvin Harrison with Harvin or Kenny Britt?
Yeah.
Bun, Giants fan. Now, you know, Plaxico, he's had his gun issues, safety off,
He's gone.
you know, unholstered. So he's gone, and now that he's gone, do you go out and do you draft a wide receiver, or who would you want the Giants to make a move on in this year's draft to solidify that team and get them back to the Super Bowl?
It's hard to say. I mean, Crabtree, he would work good, but I don't think with the offense it would happen. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't know. There's not one guy out there just, you know. I'd like to see him get Antoine Bolden, give a pick for him.
So you'd rather just see him give up the pick and get Anquan Bolden as opposed to drafting anybody out of this year's draft?
Mm-hmm.
That would be a nice move, but would it just be a straight first round pick for Bolden, or would the Giants have to give up more than that?
Probably first and second.
Well, I know based on what I've seen with Minnesota, everybody keeps saying that we need a quarterback, but I wouldn't draft a quarterback. But the team we got now, the team is ready to go into the playoffs, deep into the playoffs.
You don't need offensive line.
Need an offensive lineman on the right side. We've been struggling at right tackle for years. They drafted Ryan Cook out of New Mexico a couple years ago, and he hadn't panned out. He was a center when he was in college, and now he's playing right tackle, and things haven't worked there. I actually would like to see, for field position purposes, when I talked earlier about Percy Harvin, I like him and the fact of bringing him in for the return, because I think back to a couple years ago how Devin Hester affected the Bears' offense.
Oh, yeah, he changed the
with
game.
field position. He changed the game, and that's what I'd like to see with Minnesota is that if you get better field position with that team, number one, the likelihood of Adrian Peterson being able to go 50 yards and score is a lot better than him going 80 yards. Number two, whether it's Sage Rosenfeld or Tavares Jackson, they really don't have to do too much if the field is shortened. And then number three, the defense plays a lot better when the field position is set up based on what the kick return team does for the offense, and they're able to put points on the board. So I'd like to see Harvin go. If they can't get a guy like that on the defensive side of the ball, I would like them to see like Avonte Davis, a physical cornerback, because Antoine Winfield has been in the league for 100 years. Mm-hmm. Even though he's a Pro Bowler, he's getting up there in age, and I'd like to see him get a real physical shutdown corner to come in and be opposite Cedric Griffith. So that's what I'm looking for my team, the Minnesota Vikings. But who am I? I'm just one fan.
You Big Joe.
I'm Big Joe, but I'm just one fan.
Stat man.
And that's like I said, that's what I want.
That's that girl who she want on her team. Who you want on them Redskins?
Who you want on the Redskins? Who you want the Redskins to draft, that girl?
I don't know who's in the draft lineup, but I just hope they pick somebody to bring the team back around.
Fred Williamson, I think, is available this year. The Hammer.
Are you being funny?
She know who the Hammer is. I hope she do.
Right. Well, when she said she didn't know who was available, I just figured I told you, Jim Brown, Fred Williamson.
Old players.
Old players, old players still got a little something left in the gas tank.
You get him to the Bears.
That's good.
Well, we'll all send them to the Bears. I'm with you on that. But best career, that's the other thing. You sit back and you hear, oh, well, this guy, he's a can't miss top 3 pick or whatever, and 4 or 5 years later, that guy ain't even in the league. You talk about Ryan Leaf and guys like that. But who's going to have, out of the draft this year, who do you think is going to have the best career in terms of a 5 to 8 year window where you sit back and you say, that guy, from the day he hit the field, he was a football player. I'm looking at all the different names that are sitting out there, and you've got some guys like Brian Robisky out of Ohio State. I mentioned earlier Hakeem Nicks. Bundy mentioned him out of North Carolina. It's a wide receiver.
I'll say Andre Smith. Everybody's doubting him.
You think Andre Smith, tackle out of Alabama, is going to have the best career? And you just think because everybody's doubting him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just he got a whole lot to prove.
Yeah.
And once he, get past that initial hump, they be like, man, I wish we'd have took him. Because they say he's lazy, can't block, bad footwork. Hey, you never know. He could be doing that on purpose for somebody.
Yeah, he might be trying to hide his skills and slide down in the draft so somebody else will pick him up. Did you say Andre Smith? Jamal, who do you think is going to have the best NFL career out of all the guys available this year?
No Sean Marino.
Man, you didn't even hesitate on that, did you? No Sean Marino, running back out of
University of Georgia.
University of Georgia. Well,
SEC.
I think if No Sean Marino is drafted in the lower half of the draft, like a Philadelphia, he can go there, learn from Brian Westbrook, ease his way into the lineup, be there at the tail end of Donovan McNabb's career. I might have to agree with you on that. A running back like No Sean Marino might be able to extend out. Another guy that I think is going to have a heck of a career, you mentioned, what's his name, Aaron Curry, the linebacker out of Wake Forest. Depending on the team and the scheme and the system that he gets drafted into, I know a lot of people are looking at him going to Kansas City with the 3rd pick. Kansas City's got a lot of young defensive players on their team.
Yep.
What was it? Derek Johnson a few years ago out of Texas, linebacker. Last year, the big kid out of LSU, defensive tackle, went there. Sims went there a few years ago. So they've got a lot of youth on the defensive side of the ball in Kansas City. And if Aaron Curry can go there and be kind of an edge rusher and play that LT type position, he also might have a pretty good career. Man, you know, I taught you pretty good, didn't I? You know, I won't take all your credit, but you're doing all right there. Well, UPTV Channel 6, tell it like it is. Big Bun, Big Joe, and Junior, Jamal sitting here. We talking NFL draft. Stat Girl's back. She's not grading papers tonight, reading magazine. What's happening tonight after, you know, usually you either got a kids event, choir practice, ladies auxiliary or something like that. What's going on after we get off there?
Well, you know, it is your friend and mine's birthday this weekend.
Oh,
So
21, huh?
I'll be waiting on her phone call.
For directions
For
as
directions.
to where you'll be going after that?
That's correct.
Very good, very good. I see that. Well, Bun, any big thing coming up this weekend, you know? Just sit down and watch the draft and watch.
All right, Little League baseball game tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. And I think all three of us will be there. Me,
Do
you, and
think
Jamal.
so? You think so?
I hope so. We all better be there or we might have a little issue. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before we get off the draft, like I said, tomorrow the 2009 NFL draft kicks off in New York, 3 o'clock on ESPN. If you had to start an NFL team, I'll start this off with you, Jamal. Who's the player in the draft right now that you say, you know what, I'm going to start my team with this guy, and why would you start your team with him?
Oh, you stumped him.
Oh, Stump the Schwab.
Come on, Junior.
Time's ticking.
I still had to stay with Marshawn Marino
You start your team with him. Why is that?
because I think he has like a lot of potential and like I think he could be like a real leader of a team, and I think he could start our team real good.
Ooh, Bun, you got Noshawn Marino has popped up again. If
I
you-
would say Aaron Curry.
Aaron Curry.
I'm a defensive man.
So you start your guy with an edge rusher?
Yeah.
Okay. No, actually, I kind of agree with both of y'all. You know, I spoke earlier about Aaron Curry and Noshawn Marino, but if I'm starting my team, if I'm just starting from the ground up, I have no other players, and I got to make one pick, I'm starting my team with Mark Sanchez. And I'm starting with him because he's been in the pro system, pro set with Pete Carroll and the people at USC. I think he's already captured the imagination of a lot of fans right now because he's starting to move up the draft board. And I think his size and ability to throw the football is going to surprise whoever picks him up. I think Seattle Seahawks going to get a good steal at pick number 4 if that happens. Well, we've talked a little bit about the NFL draft. If you got any comments on it, give us a call, 328-8280, 328-8280. There's another N going on, but it's not the NFL, it's the NBA. NBA playoffs have kicked off. And, man, I'm telling you, it's some good series going on. I didn't think when you looked at the pairings when they first started off, you saw the Bulls and the Boston Celtics, and you said 2-7, that'd be over with quick. And then what happened? First game out to shoot, the Bulls upset the Celtics, and now you have a series.
Yeah, but what?
I said, you got a series.
Okay.
You got a series.
All right.
But I'm going to ask you that last night, Bulls get to go back home, series tied 1-1. They've got home court advantage. They took it away from Boston in the first game. They get to Chicago, got a big party. The Derrick Rose and family and friends, he get his Rookie of the Year trophy, just like he's in high school and everything else. And then took a beat down.
Yeah. Hey,
At the
Bulls hit reality check.
Did they blow it? Is
Oh,
my
yeah.
question. Did
Yeah,
they blow
they blowed it. I mean, Boston took them lightly the first game, and they came in like, man, you know, next thing you know, Derrick Rose, he stung them about 36 points. Second game, they was in a dog fight, and Ray Allen took the heart out of them. And you go home and get beat like that, them the same old Bulls.
Now, Derrick Rose, like you said, first game, played a great game, 36 points when they played in Boston. But he hadn't been able to create those type of points and effort. Speaking of basketball and getting to the bucket, Jamal, what's wrong with the Bulls? What's wrong with Derrick Rose?
I'm a big D Rose fan, but I think he got a little big headed last night when he had like all the people come and they had like a big party and he got his trophy and everything. And I can tell by the way he's playing, like 9 points and 7 turnovers. Like he really don't have that many turnovers.
Right.
So I think that was one of the main
It's
reasons.
called defense. And Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers been around a long time. Ain't no way he gonna let another man from Chicago embarrass him like that.
Let's say after he came to Boston and had a tea party of his own.
Yeah, and they both from Chicago too.
Right. Well, one of the things I shared with them watching the game is that, back in the day, Derrick Rose would have got one of them Charles Oakley double hand slaps.
Mm-hmm.
But now those are flagrant fouls, so you really can't foul guys and give them the hard foul that you can. But I think the other problem for the Bulls, and the reason why I say they blew it, is that Boston is playing donut basketball right now.
Yep.
There's nothing in the middle. When Kevin Garnett's gone, Boston has no post presence.
Poe gone.
Poe gone, Garnett's gone. You got who is it? Hendricks.
Mm-hmm.
Playing in the middle. Kid out of high school a couple years ago. He's not a threat in the post. So I think that the mistake the Bulls made in playing that game last night is they should have attacked the middle of Boston's defense and not with penetration. Derrick Rose, what Boston figured out is that, like you said, on the defensive side, if he gets to the bucket, that's where they're having trouble. So they went zone. They gave a lot of help side. So when he went to penetrate, and like Jamal talked about the 7 turnovers, that happened because when he went to kick, he's forcing a lot of stuff.
Yep.
He's forcing. I think the Bulls should, go ahead, even though he's not a real post present, take Tyrese Thomas, stick him right on the block, and feed him down low, and see if his athleticism can get him in a situation where they can either get Boston in foul trouble or score. But like I said, I think the Bulls really had a golden opportunity to upset Boston in this series, and by losing that game last night, I think they lose game 4, and then they go back and get put out in game 5.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to add, Bulls and Celtics, anything that jumps out in that series?
They just gotta win in game 4. If they lose game 4, they done.
Oh, it's over. I agree. Now, there's another series going on in the West that got a little interesting last night with Deron Williams and the
It's game 1.
you saying they gave 1?
Yeah. I said he played 4. He'll play 5. 5 games, he'll be done.
Well, last night, 2.2 seconds, he hit a nice little fadeaway, and they beat the Lakers 88-86. And him and Carlos Boozer, playing some inspired basketball, getting back home. But I think one of the things I'm watching that game is the effort that Utah had to expend to win a 2-point basketball game.
Yep.
Makes you wonder, do they have anything left in the tank now after doing all they had to do last night?
He got to figure, the air's light up there, and the Lakers had to get used to it. They there now.
So they're going to be there.
Oh, it'd be rebound. Lakers win. Next game by 12, 13 like they've been doing.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant had, 5 for 24 shooting last night.
Yeah.
And that's uncharacteristic of Kobe. He was 1 for 10 in the first half. And the other thing that if you notice watching that game is Kobe didn't attack the basket that much. A lot of his shots, especially those missed shots, were coming from, from the jump shot area and from the 3 line. And I agree with you. I think he had some tired legs trying to get accustomed to playing in Salt Lake City.
It's rough out there.
Now, Jamal, if you're looking at the Lakers and Utah series, what does Utah have to do to at least extend the series even further than 5 games or 6 games?
Like I said, with the Bulls, they have to win this next game because there's no way they're gonna go back to LA and beat the Lakers, the #1 seed.
Now, when they played LA the first time, Deron Williams had 18 assists. Second time he had 36 points
And still lost.
And still lost the game. What does he have to do, whether it be more assists or more points, for Utah to pull it out at home?
I think he has to get everyone involved. He can't most of his assists they'll go to Boozer or Karolinko, and those would be like his main assists. So I think he has to get most of the bench players involved too for them to win.
Yeah, I think the one problem we talked earlier about Boston and Poe and Garnett being out, but Meadow Core is out for the Utah Jazz. So because of that, they've got a real problem, I think, on the defensive side playing against the Lakers because Paul Gasol was posting Carlos Boozer at will. The only problem is he wasn't finishing the way he needed to finish. But I think that's going to be a concern. And Brewer, Ronnie Brewer has become a suspect shooter at best because Kobe Bryant doesn't even guard him now. I mean, if you watch how he's given, Kobe's the one that's giving most of the help side defense because Brewer is not a true scoring threat. I think Jerry Sloan's got to either make a decision to get Brewer off the court and bring somebody like a Kyle Korver or somebody else in so that he can be a threat when Kobe's guarding him. Because if not, I think it's going to be
trouble.
over with in 5. I think Utah will go ahead and walk them on down. Now the other series that's going on, tonight you got Portland and Houston. The other series I want to actually ask you about, Bun, is the Dallas Mavericks and the San Antonio Spurs. Dallas is up 2-1. I don't think Dallas is a very good basketball team, but they got fortunate to play against the Spurs because you're watching the Spurs get old right before your eyes. Manu Ginobili's out. Tim Duncan's on the backside. Michael Finley, those guys, I think they're just getting long in the tooth.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's the retirement home series right there. And, I mean, Dallas still – they're still rebounding from being up, 2-love,
Or almost
3-love
Miami
in the
Heat.
finals and lost 4 games in a row. They still rebounding. It'll be a while for that. But they need some help too. They need to change up their offense, and just like San Antonio. I like it. Their old style and throw it down. They need to change up. Dallas do too. I mean, because it's not working anymore.
No.
Golden State, Don Nelson. Don Nelson, he ran it out there. Yeah, you score 135, 140 points, but you're going to give up 150.
Right. And you think about the other thing, playoff basketball, just like in football, you can have the sexy offense in the regular season and you can put a lot of points on the board.
It's a 7-game series.
It's a 7-game series, and possession basketball is, paramount when you're playing in the playoffs. You cannot get out there and just run up and down the court and say, all right, I'm going to jack up a 3, and you jack 1 3 up. It doesn't fall and say, oh, no big deal. This is not a regular season. Every possession counts in the playoffs, and I agree with Bun wholeheartedly. The Dallas Mavericks style of basketball, it'll get them past San Antonio because San Antonio is just not the same team. You'd figure the San Antonio Spurs have been on a run for 10 years, starting back in '99 when they won that lockout shortened season when they beat the Knicks for the championship because Avery Johnson was playing back then.
Yep.
That shows you how long it's been. And now you hear this 10 years later, Tim Duncan, 32 years old, but his legs have probably got more miles on it than my car. And I think Tim Duncan is ready to kind of
Oh, yeah, he's close to retirement.
fade on out gracefully.
I mean, he's one of the best forwards that play the game. He's
Right.
one of the top 5 best. I mean, Mr. Fundamentals.
Exactly.
He's the type of player you want your kid to be like, shoot it off the glass, take you to the hole. But his weakness was free throws. He'd have more points. He's about 60, 70% free throw shooter, which, for a big man, you want at least be 75, 80.
Right.
But, I mean, he had a good career. I mean, he got, 3 rings?
Yeah.
3 MVPs?
I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from Tim Duncan and what he's done.
He's the type player. He's a prime example. He was the last 4-year player in college to go to the NBA and be successful.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an excellent point there. And I think that's why, like I said, with the mileage that he's had, with all the years he played in college and the successful career, he's been in the league, 13, 14 years now. So, I think right now.
There doesn't too much else he can do. I mean, he won Olympic gold. He won world titles, and I think one of the top 50 greatest, isn't he?
If he wasn't on that list, if they have to revise that list, they need to get him on there because I agree with you about the comment, big fundamentals. He is one of the best post players the NBA's seen in its history. Now, Jamal, I'm going to turn to you. Go back to the East. Detroit and Cleveland. Detroit went to
79, 68. Cleveland.
Cleveland
Final.
already over with, huh?
It's over.
So 3-0. So I'm just gonna turn to you and say I was gonna ask you, did Detroit have a chance?
Oh, it's over.
It's over. Sweet. So talk about Cleveland a little bit. Do you think Cleveland is gonna just walk through the East? Is there anybody gonna give them any challenge?
I think the Heat gonna get past the Hawks, and I think they're gonna go to at least 6 games. But I think Cleveland's still gonna pull it out, though.
So you think Cleveland and the Heat are gonna go 6?
My MVP guy.
Oh, well, that's D Wade's uncle down here, Uncle Billy Wade.
Mm-hmm.
You better give him a call, see if he send you a check or something.
He did.
Then
Yeah, he told me don't cash it yet.
I'll hold it until
Next year.
next.
It's like a stimulus package.
You can't hold them things too long.
Yes, you can. It's post dated.
All right. Did you write it with pen or pencil?
Pen.
Pen. Okay, because sometimes people go in there and change them dates. I don't know what I think about that.
Yeah.
But back to Detroit and Cleveland. Well, back to Cleveland. So do you see Cleveland right now being the team to beat in the East right now, hands down? Anybody out there that can give them any trouble in the East?
The only team I can really think is the Heat or maybe the Magic, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I think right now, it's more or less Cleveland is just kind of, practicing. And I ain't talking about a game, we talking about practice. I think they're just getting ready to see whoever they're going to face in the West. Now, I mentioned earlier Houston and Portland playing in the West, but there's another team out West, the Denver Nuggets.
My team.
That's your team. Denver Nuggets, Carmelo Anthony, Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey.
Chauncey is doing his thing. 67 points in 2 games. But the other thing is, I think he's giving Chris Paul a true basketball lesson on how to play playoff basketball.
But they'll lose. They'll lose the next game. But they'll put a rook on them when they go to New Orleans. They'll put their voodoo on them.
Oh, they're going to sprinkle him, baby?
Sprinkle them.
Yeah, they might want to watch what floors they walk across and what spaghetti they eat when they get
That's
down
true.
there. But going back to that, last year, New Orleans was that, surprise team and, gave the Spurs all that they could handle. But do you think that was more of a one-year wonder? Because my personal opinion, I don't think David West is that good of a wingman.
Well,
I think he played more it was a contract year, and David West was just trying to get his money on, but I don't know if he could stand that.
Chandler's hurt. I mean, it all depends. Them guys got injuries and they played inspired basketball last year. And it wasn't a fluke because they're back in the playoffs. You could say, there's 1 year wonder, they won't be in the playoffs this year.
Right.
But in the West, hey, it ain't like the East where you can win 36 games to be in the playoffs. You
Right.
you gotta win some games to be in the West. And Chris Paul, them, I think by the Tyson Chandler trade that happened and didn't happen, it kind of throwed them off, and they went in a spiral funk.
Wow, spiral funk.
Yes.
I think I had some medication for that a few years ago.
I don't think there's no medication for that.
You can't be cured. It's more of a virus.
It's a virus.
not a bacteria.
You got to sleep it off and think about it.
Chicken soup.
Yep.
Well, I think going back to you were just talking about with New Orleans and Denver, we talked earlier about the Jazz and the Lakers and the battles that they have in there, but I think in the West, if there's any team that can give the Lakers a true challenge, it's going to be the Denver Nuggets. And in the East, I have to agree with both of you that the Miami Heat is probably the only team right now. And it's because, as you said, D Wade, now you believe D Wade is the best player in
He
the
is.
NBA right now.
Yeah. I don't care what you say. Ain't the right, Junior.
Who's the best player in the NBA, Junior?
I can't say.
You can't say.
He probably say D Brown.
Is he even in the league?
Well, you drink that Kool-Aid too.
No. I'm not no Kool-Aid drinker.
Yes, you are. You get small. you get in vials.
Say he
You don't get cups.
cracked the top. Take a little 2-ounce hit.
Yep.
Move on.
D-Wade the best player, I'm telling you.
As I've told you before, and I'll stick to my guns
Yeah,
on
you
this
always
right
say
now.
that.
Kobe Bryant's the best player in the NBA.
Of course you say that.
It's not about athleticism. I think LeBron and D-Wade are more athletic than Kobe. But when it just comes down to pure basketball playing sense, Kobe Bryant is the best basketball player in the NBA.
That's your opinion.
Yeah. And we're going to see what happens with my opinion when the Lakers and Cleveland collide for the NBA championship. If the Lakers play the Heat, they'll sweep the Heat.
Of course, I mean,
They'll sweep the Heat.
Miami don't have enough. They don't have enough ammunition.
Too young.
They get, Lakers playing with, M16. They got a little 38 revolver, Saturday night specials.
They,
Pow, pow. Can't do that.
yeah, you're right. And then when it comes to playing against Cleveland, I think the Lakers' defensive scheme, I think they'll force the ball out of his hands.
No, they let him score all the points he wants. Just sit down everybody else.
Oh, but that'd be easy. I don't think Cleveland has enough fire. They've had enough firepower to play in the East. Mm-hmm. But I think
So you say if they play the Lakers, they got a 22, huh?
Oh, they get 38, but snub nose.
Oh, Saturday night special.
Special, that's it. Serial numbers filed off real good.
Might jam up.
Every now and then it might backfire on them, and hand might get hot. But when they play the Lakers,
We'll see.
Lakers shooting the M60. They put holes in walls. I really can't see, with Derek Fisher on the point, his veteran leadership, I can't see the Lakers losing to either one of those teams when they meet up in the
So if
championship.
the Lakers don't win it, you bust this team up?
No,
You just keep coming back?
I just come on back because the
Will
nucleus
Phil
is-
leave?
Will Phil leave? If the Lakers lose, I think he will. I think Phil's ego,
Him in that high chair leave, huh?
right, he just can't sit back. I don't think Phil wants to work no more.
Hey, what is the man? The man got 10 titles?
Is it 10 titles? He's got 6 with the Bulls and 3 with LA.
And one is a player.
Right, when he was with the Knicks. So, and good point there. You almost stumped Schwab. I had to think back when the old shoulders used to be out there and he had that old curly
Yeah,
front.
10 titles.
And the
What
big
more the
mustache.
man?
Yeah, that's why I said I think if they don't win it this year, I think it'll be done. The other matchup in the East, Philadelphia and Orlando.
Philadelphia's with up, let me get it right, 74-59, third quarter.
Yeah, and you know why that's happening? We talked earlier about sexy offense. Orlando throughout the year shot a lot of threes, and Dwight Howard,
Superman.
come flying through and do his thing and dunk and all that. But it goes back to possession basketball. When the shot clock's winding down, who's the go-to guy on the Orlando Magic?
What hurt them when
Make his shot up.
Jameer Nelson went down?
That's it.
But the thing about Stan Van Gundy ain't no coach.
No.
He just, he going off the Van Gundy name, like his brother.
Yeah, and he was fortunate enough to have some, quality players there, and like you said, he just happens to be there. But who's the guy, Jamal, on Orlando that needs to step up and, Dwight Howard's right there in the middle, but he can't get the ball, so who's the guy that's got to step up so that either A, they have to create their shot or get the ball to Dwight Howard?
Rashard Lewis.
Rashard Lewis? Why is that?
Because I think he needs to step up, and they need a guard to step up.
Yeah.
Because they been getting no guard play.
Yeah, now do you think, at this point in his career, can J.J. Redick turn something on, become something special? Is it just a done deal for him?
He's a shooter.
Yeah. He can't even get a shot off.
Yeah, well, this ain't Duke where you can run around 7 screens and then, shoot a 3. This is the NBA, and with 24 seconds on the shot clock, they only gonna run one set, and after they run the one set, done deal. Now we got a few minutes left in the show. UPTV Channel 6, tell it like it is. If you want to give us a hit, you can call us 328-8280, 328-8280. Last few minutes of the show, Major League Baseball season about 3 weeks old, and got a big series going on right now with the Cubs.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Yankees and Red Sox.
I said a big series.
That is a big series.
For who? The Reds?
Yeah, that's right. That's
Well, one of the things I want to point out, and,
I can't say nothing. Mets went to St. Louis and we didn't help y'all not a bit.
You know what the Mets did? They went down to St. Louis like Fred Sanford used to do with a bag of them greasy chicken wings, looking for Jackie the stewardess.
Well, they didn't
weren't going
find
down
her.
there focusing on baseball.
No, they didn't
went down
find
there
her.
for something else.
I got a whole lot of texts, but I told him I'll see you in October.
Yeah, because you'll be driving the bus and you'll have your team taking them back home.
Well, it
because
don't make
they're
no
not gonna
difference.
make it.
Cubs win 150 games, still lose 3 in a row in the
Now, see,
playoffs.
now, there you go.
All right.
There you go. See, season ain't but 3 weeks old and already hate.
I ain't hating. I'm keeping it real.
See,
You won 98 last year.
we'll win 102 this year.
Well, you lose. You lose this time 4-1.
No, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Boston, New York. Talk about that real quick. Both teams are 9-6. Toronto's ahead in the East in American League.
Just lackluster series. Ain't no A-Rod. Now the Yankees got a new stadium and they blaming it on the seats on the third base line. The aerodynamic, that's the reason why home runs flying out. And Boston does not come back around. Boston, for a while, Boston was in last place.
Yeah. Now, one thing that is happening in that division is the fact that the Tampa Rays, everybody got excited about that team last year.
One-hit wonder.
1 year wonder. Where are they at now in the American League East? Last. At 6-10, 5.5 games back of the surprising Toronto Blue Jays. Chicago White Sox in the American League Central are in first place, if you want to categorize it that way. They're tied for first with Detroit and Kansas City. All 3 teams are 8-7. Minnesota 7-9, and Cleveland is 6-10. So it's obviously still early. And for example, the Cubs right now are 8-6, and they're in 4th place in the National League Central. But they win this series against the Cardinals, they could be in first place, and the Cardinals could drop back to 4th place. So a lot of things can change. Right now, Jamal, any team in Major League Baseball is standing out to you?
St. Louis is beating the Cubs right now.
What's the score?
3-0 bottom 6.
Oh, well, just started. Cubs always wait till late in.
Like how they did first, the one series, Soriano hit that home run.
And then Ramirez on Sunday
You a
night.
Cub fan too?
Always been a Cub fan.
Who's that? What's his name?
Yeah, he like the Colts.
That's
He like
my-
Illinois.
He's an Ohio State fan.
Well, he's still a rival.
Right.
That's ooh,
Oh, now that one there, that
that'll get you put out the house.
house, yeah. That one hurt there when he became a Buckeye. But the older boy came a Michigan Wolverine fan, so
Busters.
I'm good there. But in terms of back to Major League Baseball, any team that's standing out right now early this year, or any comments for you on what's happening with the Cubs?
Florida Marlins.
Florida Marlins?
Fly by night.
Yeah, well.
They'll fall.
The Marlins have come out, played some
Inspired baseball.
hot 11-4. They're playing some good ball right now. How long can they last?
They're
I mean, like I
fall.
said, we're still in the month of April, so we really don't have a clue.
I mean, baseball right now is everybody filling each other out. You know who's for real by the 4th of July weekend. You
Yeah.
know exactly who's for real.
I
That
think-
way it's good and hot across the United States. You had them doubleheaders. But to me, I don't know. I think the Dodgers might come out the West.
Yeah, well, I think that was a big acquisition last year to pick Manny Ramirez up. On top of that, to sign him, for him to stay on as a free agent, I think that really solidified what the Dodgers are going to do this year. I've been banging the drum about with the Cubs changing the leadoff hitter. I know everybody thinks Soriano, good bat, loves to be the leadoff hitter. However, he still doesn't force the issue on the base path. And I think because of that, that's where the Cubs need to make some changes. I think tonight, Terrio actually ended up being the leadoff hitter in tonight's game. And I hope to see Lou Piniella do more experimenting with that position for the Cubs. Now, if you got any questions, like I said, or comments, give us a hit. UPTV Channel 6, tell it like it is. Now, Bun, any other team in Major League Baseball, or are you really concerned and saying, you know what, my Mets are going all the way, even though
It should be.
your Mets are 6-9 and only ahead of the Washington Nationals in the National League?
It's early. Baseball. I don't get into baseball till September.
So you missed the whole summer, basically, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, because I watch Tiger. Tiger golf. I watched, a little tennis and NASCAR.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah, you
Rewind.
gotta be inspired, man. I'm a hockey guy too. Detroit just swept,
Now, how the Boston Bruins doing? Right?
Oh, they swept already.
See, I'm a
See,
Bruins fan.
I'm a blue line. Blue line. A lot of people, you don't know nothing about hockey. Blue line change, icing, all them. Face off, shot on goals.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I watch it. I like it.
I knew your last name was LaFleur.
Yeah, it is.
So since you moved from Canada, how long have you been down here?
Long time.
Long.
NASCAR, Jeff Gordon. I'm a Jeff Gordon man. Everybody hate Jeff Gordon. Everybody hate winners. That's the reason,
Right. Well, I actually like the old Rainbow Warrior.
Do you?
I've always
Who
been
you,
a fan.
Junior? You like NASCAR?
Tom Stewart.
He just picks it just because he on a commercial.
I've been like them.
Let's say he's the Armor All kid.
Yeah, where'd he come from then? See? Come from Indy racing.
Wow. He stumped you.
You gotta know him. If you're gonna know him.
Let's say he's telling you, you might want to step your game up, is what he was trying to call you out on TV, son. That's what he's trying to do.
Right.
So you have to shoot one back at it.
So, baseball is all right. It's a good Saturday afternoon. You lay on the couch. You had a good old pork sandwich. You lay back on the couch and watch TV. You watch the first 2 or 3 innings. You wake up. It's the 8th, 9th
I was
inning.
just going to say, you watch the first 2 or 3 innings, and then the next 4 watch you.
Yeah. Things happen.
And then the classic line, if somebody comes in and touches the TV, I was watching that.
You're right. Don't touch the TV.
Don't touch it.
It's like golf. Ain't it like, sit there quiet. Here Tiger is on the 15th hole. He's 186 yards out. He's going to use a loft wedge.
There it is.
Oh. Excellent shot.
I'm glad you
Nice
brought it up.
choice of clubs.
We only got a couple minutes left in the show. You talk about Tiger, the Master. Do you think that final round with him and Phil Mickelson going back and forth, did that set the tone for the rest of this golf season? Or do you believe that Phil just got up for that one round with Tiger, but he's not going to be able to sustain that level of play for the rest of the year?
Yeah, it's good. I like it. I think that's, they hate each other. Ernie Els, they hate Tiger.
Right.
All of them hate him. But because they didn't change the courses for him. They was happy when he was gone. Everybody went. Sergio Garcia, he hates him too. He drank that Kool-Aid. But the man back, he's getting back in his stride. He'll come around.
Okay.
But he showed he was human when because he hit that shot in the tree. I was like, dang, I done done that before.
We'll say you felt good
Oh,
that
yeah.
you've done
Oh, yeah.
something that Tiger Woods did.
Oh yeah.
Now I thought you were gonna say you hit a 300-yard drive like Tiger Woods, but you Tiger in the woods.
You're right, because between my ball and your ball, we could build a store.
7-Eleven is what you build, not a Kmart. This ain't Charles Barkley over here. Trust me.
Okay.
No hitch in my giddy up over
Okay.
here.
All right.
UPTV Channel 6, tell it like it is. We really appreciate you coming out, checking us out tonight. You his anytime 8 o'clock Friday night on Channel 6. Now Jamal, I'm gonna turn to you before we get ready to roll credits and get on out of here. Any other sports related topic you want to talk about? You got a big Little League baseball game coming up tomorrow, but what do you want to let the people know about in the world of sports before we get out of here?
Yeah, come on now.
We only got 60 seconds. Yeah. Nothing? Nothing at all? Stat Girl, anything you want to add before we get on out of here?
No, you didn't talk about Dancing with the Stars any. You could have touched on that at least.
I tell you what, if we had more time, we only have 30 seconds. Is Lil' Kim still in Dancing with the Stars?
Yes.
She is?
But I was talking about the football guy.
The football guy.
He got kicked off.
Who was that?
She don't even know.
Right, and you talk about Dancing with the Stars, you don't even know who the guy was.
The guy that had the reverse shag back in the 80s.
Wow.
Lawrence Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's gone. Well, LT should have been gone anywhere. But I tell you what, we gonna get on out of here.
Go out and
Channel
support
6.
your little league team
Yeah.
there. All around Champaign about. Go out and watch a good game.
There you go.
Every night.
5:45 every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Tuesday and Thursday. Go out to your local parks, support Little League Baseball. Come check it out. We'll be doing our thing tomorrow, 3 o'clock out at Douglas, so Come check us out there. For Big Bun, Junior, Stat Girl, Kendall, Big Joe, I'm gonna give you the peace sign, say we out of here. Appreciate you watching UPTV Channel 6. Tell it like it is. We'll see ya. We out.